Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. It's been a while, been busy, and want to answer. Well, first I want to say, I want to answer questions actually answered. So often people answer questions that no one's actually asking, but this one is being asked all the time in email and in chat and even at the airport today. So, how's Aquarium Co-op doing is what people ask, and my best answer is I think we're doing okay. And I believe that there's like a lot to come for us, as in like the downfall, if you will, is still a ways out. So mostly I'm just going to talk about that kind of stuff, answer Q&A, show some products, some stuff we're launching finally, and that kind of stuff. So let me get my list up here. So in terms of Aquarium Co-op, how are we doing? The retail store is down over 70%, and if anyone knows business, being down 70% is horrible. If we only had the retail store, we would be basically out of business at this point. But luckily we have the online portion, and that is propping all of this up. And things like people becoming members and that kind of stuff, the YouTube income, all of that is helping the Aquarium Co-op entity stay afloat. So we're lucky in that regard. When it comes to online sales, they might be even up a little bit at this point. So, there's some challenges to come with that as well. So sales are up, which is nice a bit, but restocking is nearly impossible. Let me see if my wife is texting me or if something else, because live stream could be on fire. Yes. So restocking has been a challenge. So I might look pretty tired. I've been working kind of very long hours the last few weeks. Up late last night, and then today I got up early to go to the airport, and it was supposed to be for 2 plant shipments, and turns out it was only 1 because there are very few flights, and I guess Colorado got a snowstorm, and so stuff got rerouted. And so what normally would take 2 flights from somewhere like Florida to us now took it's taking 5 flights, so it won't be here till about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'll be going again tomorrow morning to pick up plants and help put them away and do that kind of stuff. So, we're trying our best to give you guys accurate timelines when we do run out of things and you say, when are you going to get this back? Up until this morning, even when I checked it last night before I went to bed, it was supposed to be here at 8 a.m. It wasn't. So we do our best there, and there's, some challenges in that to get things, we also have to pay more sometimes. And so, like, we buy about half our plants in the United States, and then we can't get enough, so we buy about the other half out of the United States. Well, there's basically no flights from those farms coming into Washington State, and it's about 50-50 coming into California. And so now we fly plants in, but they land in California, and we pay a transhipper, a middleman, to put them on another flight and then fly them to Washington. As you can imagine, an extra person in the process there and an extra flight doesn't make things any cheaper, but makes the price go up. So, adding logistics and stuff like that, I'm going to the airport sometimes 4 or 5 times a week at this point to maintain the best we can. But yeah, so those are some of the challenges we're having. And another one, some examples, like we've run out of USB NANO air pumps. Those probably won't be in stock for at least 6 weeks. And we're running into the challenges of like, so Easy Green, right? We have Easy Green, we're getting more Easy Green, but this is that talking in the future part I was talking about at the beginning of this, and that's where we're gonna struggle is next month, the month after, that kind of stuff. So with Easy Green, it is produced in the United States. However, the top and the bottle, I believe, are produced in China, right? So we can get plenty of bottles, that's no problem. The problem is we only have X amount of pump heads. Now, we had to inquire why are we having problems, that kind of stuff, and it turns out that all pump head manufacturers have diverted what they would normally make into making hand sanitizer pumps. Makes sense, high demand. And so we have enough pump heads to last like till the end of next month, maybe, somewhere in there, of the normal black style. We have some white ones left from the previous style, which would be, I guess I only have the black ones here, but in a previous iteration, we had the white one because it made it easy to pick at the warehouse. We then made them all black so that it matched. We do have about a couple thousand of those, so I think we have enough to last us another 2 to 3 months. Now, we're desperately hoping that we will be able to buy some pump heads in between then, so we don't just have to sit out. And in a worst case scenario, we could sell Easy Green without pump heads, but that's what makes Easy Green easy, is the pump head. So it's things like that where it's like we couldn't foresee that. We could foresee that factories would shut down in China, and we can foresee that flights are going to be dicey. Okay, we can foresee that, but we can't. Well, I shouldn't say couldn't. I didn't foresee factories repurposing for something that was in higher demand. So I guess that's on us. But so there are going to be some gaps in some of our product offerings, unfortunately. Even though we tend to carry a lot, I mean, more than most people would. So if your average company carries, here's the demand for 2 months, we carry 4 months, right? And so that's where we're in April now, and something like pump heads, we would have had to buy them all in December at that point because none have been produced. And so we're going to get to about 5 months in and run out, and it's like, oh, I guess we need to carry more than 5 months worth of pump heads for something like this in the future. So, you know, there's challenges there, and even with the stop gaps with less freight moving around, we used to be able to, if we ever, you know, let's say I talk about a product and you guys love it and you buy it all. And then we usually bring stuff over on a boat. But in the short term, we could fly stuff over and not lose money. We might not make money, but we wouldn't lose money. Well, flying stuff, because there's so few flights, something that costs us $100 might cost us $700 a ship now, and that might only be worth products that only sell for $500. So, you know, there's no money made there. So there's going to be things like right now we're desperately out of scissors and some other stuff that would have made sense. We've got new products to launch too. Our plan before, you know, the virus happened and was the Aquarium Co-op airline tubing. We had proofed it. It's great. It's amazing. We were going to fly over enough to handle it until our cargo container landed, but that became a thing where it's more expensive to ship the airline tubing than we can sell it for. So that becomes, well, we just have to wait. So there's, you know, people are asking, well, what are you guys doing? We had stuff in the works and we are working on stuff, but everything got stretched out on a super long timeline now. So it just kind of looks like we've been inactive, but the reality is making ends meet, doing what we can. You know, we had one employee who has another job and they were working for us part-time, and they gave up their shifts, which was helpful. I laid off my wife. My wife worked for Aquarium Co-op. She no longer works for us. You know, so we're battening down the hatches and planning for a long haul here, but it's not the easiest thing, and it does take lots of looking at numbers and making decisions and forecasting and go, well, what if that's not going to work? And but I think, you know, compared to a lot of other businesses, and, you know, there's a lot of people that don't have a job right now, I think at this exact moment, the best answer I can give is we're doing okay, but I do foresee challenges going forward, because if we don't have stuff to sell, that's a real big problem when we're in the market of selling things. So, you know, we're hoping that things smooth out. We're hoping that airlines can come back online. We're hoping, you know, that the virus continues to scale downward and all of that. And we're just hoping that our cash flow and all of that kind of just like, all right, it worked. And yeah, we appreciate everything you guys buy from us. We appreciate, you know, I know I've got some super chats sitting out there. We know we have new members. All of that helps keep us afloat. And yeah, so what else do I have on my list? I was going to talk about Sarah products. So in the midst of all of that kind of stuff, we still have the normal business stuff going on. And that would be Sarah has decided that they want to make all of their products natural. So if you guys have been following us for a while, you would know that maybe a year or so ago, they started making their flake food natural, and it was better. It was good, right? And they actually, at the time, they didn't say they were going to make everything natural. Well, we found out from our supplier 10 days ago, 7 days ago, something like that, that everything became, oh, this is a different one. But anyway, everything became natural, and there will be no more normal. And so, like here I have, this is the normal Sarah ONIP tab, which we have probably 30 of these left in stock. And then this is the spirulina one, which I have the other one I was testing over there. I just grabbed the wrong box. But, I had to test them, because anytime there's a product change, I got to test it. Well, unfortunately, I made a video for you guys. We are going to elect to not carry the Sarah ONIP tabs anymore, because they're not the same, and in my opinion, they're quite a bit worse. The price was also going to go up for you guys, which, I understand that. Over time, things go up in price. That's something we could talk about, but let me see if I can play the video for you guys. I made a little video today to prep for this live stream. All right, so we've got this video, and let me make sure my audio is working through this. Yes. So this video, on the right-hand side, we have the original Sarah ONIP tab, the one that we've all fed a million times and absolutely love. On the left-hand side, we have the new one that is all natural. And, my comments before we watch well, I guess I can click play on the video here. I gotta find the right page to actually play the video. Here we go. Is that out of the package, it was a lot more brittle, and I thought it was dissolving a lot faster, so I actually got some from the warehouse today and did a side-by-side comparison. The one on the left, you can see, is just sloughing off tons of stuff very quickly, and the one on the right, the one we knew, held together well, and it would dissolve a lot slower. So that slower was really good for nano tanks and allow libraries to go pick at it. Like in the tank right now, there's just a ton of stuff sloughed around the bottom, and as I get a different view, you're really going to be able to see here the difference in the two. And from a company like that, they always say, like, we made it better, it's the same product, don't worry about it. This is why I always have to test things, because nothing's ever the same when you change it. You want it to be, and it makes sense for it to be. All we did is X, Y, and Z shouldn't make a difference, but it does. And so, you can see that, yes, there are particles coming off the right-hand side, and that would be great for celestial pearl danios and Brigittea rasboras and little baby fish and that kind of stuff. But the one on the left was, it's just disintegrating, and it only keeps speeding up. And so that's where we've decided to not carry that product at all anymore. And, unfortunately, that's going to limit some of our stuff. And I think we're going to keep a few other products on, like the Sarah Micron. That one seems to be the same in our testing. We're still testing some other ones, so some, but in general, I'm pretty against when companies change things that don't need to be changed. There's so many things in this industry that does need to be changed. Like, forever and a day, we've been telling Sarah, change your packaging for the American market for the better. And they put new packaging out, not any better at all. So, there are good changes to make. I don't think this was one of them, and we'll be evaluating some of the other ones. And right at this moment, it's not looking good. That's the takeaway from it. And so, Sarah on the list. You can buy up what you want to buy up, but to the best of my knowledge, they're no longer even producing it. So, hope maybe sales will drop off, and then they will bring it back. Like there's always a hope for that. Like, oh, we'll bring it back retro style, and maybe the other foods will feed out the same. But this one, it's a pretty specific food. It felt different, it smelled different. I was hesitant, and it worked out to be not good. So, all right, on my next list. Yeah, we're axing another group of products, and I'm the bearer of bad news today, I think. So we're getting rid of most of the Dennerley products. So that would be Shrimp King Foods. Mostly just that, because we didn't carry too much. The snail catcher, and we're gonna try and keep some, like the snail catcher. We might try and keep, and the CO2 checker we might try and keep, but the the problem was we were selling it cheaper than they wanted, and we want it to go lower. We think it should be like $12.99 and not $17.75 for those foods. And they're under contracts in America that they don't want to break. And so they say if we don't sell it at the inflated price, which we've already had it there before, it doesn't really sell, that they won't sell to us anymore. So we're just deciding to not sell it. There's a lot more to that story than just that, because that just makes it seem like Corey's not doing something right, but it's a lot of stuff I can't disclose. And so, take it at face value of, don't get me wrong, I would love to sell you guys a bunch. I'm really advocating for the price to go down. I hope it does, but at the moment, we're not willing to reinflate that price for you guys and continue to carry it when, if the product sells for $11 US dollars in Germany, it shouldn't have to sell for $17.75 in America. Like, we import a lot of stuff. We know that each package of shrimp food that's this big shouldn't be $6 and some cents to move it from Germany to here. And so, that's just what that is. And, maybe it's a clash of just two companies that can't work it out, but we've been trying for years. If you guys have been following us, it's been literally years we've been trying to work with them, and we're just not willing to put the 150% effort we have been putting in to fight against them anymore, to not teach them, because I don't know we're teaching them, to try and convince them to do what we think is best. And not that we always know what's best, but I generally do believe that's the best thing, the best course of action for them. They don't, so, we'll merge ways for now, and who knows. All right, we got a $20 super chat from Gunner. Don't know what I'd do without you. Aquarium co-op in this community. Treat yourself for some tacos and stay healthy. Well, thank you. It was my birthday on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, 37 now, getting old. And my wife made some tacos. She's been treating me pretty good this last week. So, well, she treats me well all the time, but in particular this last week even better. Thank you. And thank you to the new members. We have got, I'm sure I missed some, but Candle Angel and Bolivian G-Ram. I'll show you guys a new feature, by the way. This is on my list. I don't know where it's on my list, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. We're going to flop over to here. And I'm going to switch the website we're on. We have Aquarium Co-op chat on the website now. So you guys might have seen we were doing some testing on YouTube where we ran a chat for like 5 days in a row. And I really was spending time analyzing how were people using it. What did they want to get out of it? What do they wish they could do? And things like that. And so with that information, I went to see if YouTube could do it. They couldn't really do that part. So then I went and found software that we are working on and I won't say developing, but polishing better for our website. So you can post pictures directly. That was one of the biggest things is, I think my fish is sick. Can you look at this picture? Can you let me know? So there's that going on. You can do some links, and you can do some of these things. And so with that, we're hoping that we can manage a community there. We're going to run it the same way we run YouTube. We don't allow swearing, we don't allow negativity, politics, religion. There's all these things that set people off. Keep in mind, we're here to talk about fish, and we need to keep it, kid friendly and all of that. And so we're going to do all of those things. And there's still moderators there, and I've got, I usually have a screen up right here. It would create a reflection on the tank behind me, but I'm always monitoring it, whether I'm chatting actively in it or not. It's not just like, let's line up 500 people to talk to Corey. The goal is you guys can talk to each other. It auto puts in YouTube videos, so when you guys link a video, it automatically shows up there. It's got a lot of good features. It's got some quirks that we don't like about it either yet that we're going to try and fix. It's a little bit, when it comes to your cell phone, you got to kind of, let me open up as a full screen chat. Oh, that's how it works well. You got to, it's like back in the days of sitting in AOL chat rooms. You got to know your way around. And okay, that's how you make this do that thing. But it's been a lot of fun, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And up at the top there, I was able to install our podcast player. So you can be listening to podcasts and chatting with people. You can have this up at work or, just at home. And, that leads to my next point. We have integrated the Aquarius podcast into the Aquarium Co-op podcast. So in your app on your phone, if you guys don't have the Aquarium Co-op app, you might think about it. Let me pull that up right here. So you've got the Aquarium Co-op app. Now it'll be serving Aquarius podcasts in there, and you'll be able to sort by categories. So if you go to categories here, one would be, I guess I can make myself bigger now. One would be the Aquarius podcast, and you can listen to those interviews. I've been interviewed on there a few times. So is Dean. So is a lot of other prominent people that maybe you've never heard of. People that run maybe, I think Eric Lucas is on there, who runs Pet Shrimp. This one that happens to be there was, I guess he Talks about the cichlid garden on Epistogrammas. So lots of stuff like that. Yeah. So what else do I have going on with, how's Aquarium Co-op doing? New members, thank you very much. Rafin. And $5 from Loop and Poop. Hoopy Oops. I like that name, and I like your dog. All right. So what do I got as new? What do I got as new? Oh, yes. So one of the projects we've been working on is some new artwork and like t-shirts and stuff. The t-shirts are to come. And we first learned about the hand sanitizer, all hands on deck from stickers, actually. So we made stickers, and there was delays in production because they're making hand sanitizer labels. Who knew, right? So the plan for these stickers, I'm going to show you guys these stickers, but the plan is, as you guys order from us, they are for sale on the website if you'd like to buy them, or you miss them, or you ruin them, or something happens to them, you could buy some. But we're also including them in orders at different order numbers. So at order number 29, maybe you get that one. Order number 7, maybe you get that one, right? And so there's freebies that we're throwing in that kind of be a collectible. So the first one, I shouldn't say the first one, but the first one you guys ever saw was the Murphy decal, and they're die cut. So this scanned part is not part of the sticker. This is just so we can have it in the warehouse. But if you were to put this on your laptop or something, it comes off like that. So it is a die cut sticker. Don't worry about the barcode. You don't have to have a barcode on your sticker. Let me put that back on there. So we have Murphy. We also have this super cool Cardinal Tetra. You can collect that. We also have this angelfish, right? And then we also have the Aquarium Co-op logo. And our plan is to build out some more, but as you would know it, there's delays. So we have another one in production right now. And as of this video, and probably like 20 minutes ago, some of those are getting placed in orders. We've got the software, if it's working correctly, should be randomly inserting those into orders. And so you guys can collect them all now. All right. $20 from Dalton, well, thank you. And $10 from D91 Bass. I appreciate it. All right, what's left on the faster I get through my list, the sooner I can answer questions. So I try to get through it. We talked about the podcast, the chat. Oh, I wanted to plug my hats, because if you're like me, you haven't been able to go get a haircut, and it's getting out of control. So I have to wear a hat now. And we do have quite the selection of hats, and I love this one for summer, just because it's got all the mesh. It is fitted. We do have small, we do have large. They are flex fit. Info on the website. Love hats. I wear them. The last thing I guess I'll bring up is, I don't think I ever talked about this, but we do have XTREME BETTA pellets. Now, why bring that up? Well, we had a hand in developing this product, and that's why I bring it up. And my specific ask was, I really like a BETTA food that comes with a spoon to feed. So you get this little baby spoon, and this spoon is really good if it's at your office, if you go on vacation, if you're a new Aquarist and you don't know how much to feed your BETTA, you just get yourself a scoop, and you go, oh, that's how much you feed one BETTA. And you can do that. Maybe you got 10 bettas. Maybe you have a store that's got 200 and some bettas, and you need to feed them all very quickly. And so it comes with the spoon right in it, and it's the same quality food as the rest. And I believe this one's semi-floating. So semi-floating XTREME is a little bit weird with that. Semi-floating is like crazy good floating, and then some will sink. So take it as like floating almost perfect, but it's not. So we've been selling quite a bit of it, but I just realized I never talked about it. And we did have a hand in label design. There's some nice looking bettas, if I don't say so myself. And then the spoon. So same formula, same formula it's been. So we didn't really have a hand in the making of the actual formula, mostly the marketing side. And I'm always excited when a company goes, well, how would you do it? Like, what do you want to see? And like, oh, well, if you're asking, here's what I want to see. and trying to improve upon a product. But before that, they didn't have a BETTA food. I believe that's true, right? Yeah, that's true. I'm 99% sure that's true. So, yeah. Daryl Diamond with $20. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I've been following a lot of people on Facebook, just living vicariously through them because I'm at the battle station, if you will, all day long, checking on flights and stuff. So, all right, that's all the stuff I had to get done. All right, hop into the chat. 1,000 of us here, but only 290 likes. Ooh, well, ain't that a shame? Oh, I didn't see an Episto sticker. We do have, so on the list, we have a person doing our graphic artwork for us, and Episto is on the list. We actually had we have a list of 30 things we want. So far, we've checked off 2. So there's 28 more to go. And, it takes time, takes drafts, takes money. There's some of that, like, whoa, okay. This is a product that's been going for a little while, so it's, everything kind of gets tempered where it's like, ooh. But yes, I do believe, I don't know which one and where and when and all of that. And I think down the road, we'll probably make some kind of sticker pack so you can buy them all because they're kind of at random. And I know someone's going to be like, but I'm the biggest flower horn fan and I've never gotten one. And got to give you a way to get that and all that. So we're working on it. All right. Stickers for 27 tanks. That's a lot of stickers. These stickers, by the way, I'm going to toot my own horn here. These stickers are not cheap. Like, at all. They, we made the decision that, so we've been giving away our small stickers, and they are cheap. Those ones are cheap. And I wanted to give something that people really wanted to collect. And the only way we felt like doing it, or felt we could do it, is making like really nice stickers. And so these legit have like an actual cost that we weigh into everything we're shipping and doing that. But I didn't want just more. I don't want to call their sticker cheesy. That one was cheap, and we kept it small, and we buy them 20,000 at a time to keep them ultra cheap. Where we can't do that. We couldn't afford to do 30 different types of stickers and buy 20,000 of them. That's like insane-o money. So this was more like, how do we do a smaller print run? How do we keep quality up? How do we make it so people actually want them? And we had to do that by, actually doing real good quality. So we're hoping that you guys appreciate that. And it's one little, I try to have fun with the business too. I guess I'm always trying to go, what would be fun? And there's days where it's just a brainstorming session of what can we do for our customers and fans? Like, what can we do that we haven't been doing? Like, is there a way, or we get inspired by, we get something in the mail. Like, oh, wow, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do that. Or, we just see something. And, so yeah, I mean, really it came down to, we had it so we were giving away that sticker with everyone's first order. And it was really nice. I've been picking and packing a lot in the warehouse lately because we, understaffed and had to. Anyway, you would see when someone was a new order, like a first-time customer, you're like, oh, he's kind of, or at least I always felt good about it. Like, yeah, all right, cool. And so what was nice is I could see it and go, huh, so this is what people buy when they're a first-time customer. I mean, we can look at charts and all that kind of stuff all day long, but when you're picking it and packing it and going, huh, okay, all right, you're like, weird, they bought all that and they wouldn't have bought this? I wonder how long they've been following the co-op. And so that sticker idea made us think like, well, what if we had other purchase levels where it's like, well, let's take a note at, the 5. It's their 5th purchase. What are people buying when they buy 5? Let's start bringing that into our brain. And what about 20 and 25 and, all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to, look at, almost bring a fun way to analytics, I guess, for us. New member, Benjamin Malik, and the Fish Tank Barn with a $5 super chat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Can I talk about keeping shrimp and guppies together is a good or bad idea? I've always been a long-standing fan of them together. That being said, you won't get as many shrimp as if you just kept a shrimp tank. But I really like colorful guppies, and then shrimp down below. I've done well, whether you're selling them for profit, just keeping them. I tend to be a heavy feeder with guppies, and that works out okay because then guppies poop a lot, then the shrimp eat that poop, and they break it down again. So, yeah, I like it. I would say try it out, but don't hate me if you're like, hey, I ate all my shrimp eventually. Like, well, you maybe need to feed harder or something like that. Oh, Pleco Guy just said, I just bought the last 2 of the 100-pack Spirulina ONIP tabs. Yeah, I'm so sad about stuff like that. That stuff is like my number one pet peeve when we essentially take a, can I call it perfect? I don't know. So that's a product I don't know that we could have necessarily made better. A lot of times Aquarium Co-op goes, oh, you know what I would do? I would do this. I'm not sure I had a way to really make that product better. And so, well, besides the packaging, I guess, but, it's just such a bummer. And maybe, maybe what'll happen is maybe they'll come out with like natural ONIP tab 2.0, and in 8 months we go, hey, we're bringing it back on. What is it? In my honest opinion, most times most companies don't test well enough, and they just think that the average consumer will be like, it'll be fine, they'll buy that. And X amount of people will, but I feel like the Aquarium Co-op customer and fan base is like more in tune with the hobby, and you guys kind of look towards me to really, I guess, analyze stuff, and so I do. And yeah, it's just a shame. It would be like me changing Easy Green for the worse when it's one of our best-selling products. And I mean, it's another thing if they came to me with a story of like, look, it takes ingredient X and that ingredient just can't be bought in the world anymore. That's an entirely different story than, we made it better. And the story is literally this, by the way. We think that natural packaging resonates better with the European market and the millennial market in the United States. So it's a marketing ploy. There's no doubt about that. It's not, it's healthier or anything like that. It's based on marketing. And so that's how I know. It's just like, oh, dang. You could have done to a lot of products. This one wasn't the one. All right. Do I have any wholesale distributors in Canada? We don't. But that's a good point. I didn't even have it on my list. Amazon doesn't take any non-essential items, well, for about the last month, and who knows for how long. So when we run out of Easy Green and Easy Iron in Canada, we currently can't send them anymore. So whenever that runs out, until they flip the switch and allow us to send non-essential stuff back in, we'll be sold out. So that's another one of those like revenue streams is going to just go away for us until something can happen there. I will say there is some good news about Canada, and that is we were looking to sell some products on there, and just the way we wanted to sell them and the tariffs and import fees and all that, it made no sense. We actually have designed a new product. I won't tell you guys yet, because then you'll hound us, but you'll ask Candy like, hey, when's it coming? We don't know yet, right? But we're making a new product that we'll offer it in the United States as well, but it's being designed because of Canada. So Canada's not just an afterthought. We look at that market, we genuinely want to provide for you guys, and sometimes that's going to make it so that we have to change a product. Well, not change it, but maybe make another one or another size or whatever that's going to be. And so it's been good because I think it's probably a product that we should have had anyway, and now it's like, oh, that makes sense, we'll do that. But we're probably a couple months out at least still. Well, who knows how many months from getting into Canada, because we can't even send it there if it was ready today. Elizabeth Hughes, $14. Well, thank you. I hear my puppies.
You want the white pump?
Oh, you could, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the old white pump. We were using it to do houseplants. So my wife was. So yeah, what will be in the future is you'll see that right now you would get this, and in the future when we run out, you'll be getting this for a while until we can source the black pump head again.
Just because I could.
Okay. She says just because she is using it doesn't mean it works. Although I stole the other one from Randy because he was using it on his houseplant in his office as well. So it's, honestly, as I was explaining it to Randy, Easy Green is like a very watered down version of houseplant fertilizer, because houseplant fertilizer, they can just put raw ammonia in there and stuff like that for like Miracle Grow. So, it's, as I told my wife and I told Randy, it's not the most efficient way to fertilize your houseplants at all. Hoopy fish water, way better. So use that. All right. Do I sell it in the UK? We don't yet. Long term, I do believe we want to. Well, I mean, I know I want to, but it's, if you've been hanging around for a while, we were trying to get to Canada for quite a while. Now it's a reality. UK, you guys are on our list too. So it's not a reality yet, but we hope someday it will be. And I don't like to say, oh, we'll go ahead and do that, and when we don't know. So, all right. Do I sell Hydroquin rasboras? We do at the store, but I will use this platform to encourage you guys, please stay home. Even though revenue is way down at the store, we still only want you guys coming in for essentials. If you need food, sometimes there's puffers and there's things that have to have frozen food. Like if you need food, that's a valid reason. You need medicine, a broken heater, a broken piece of equipment. Those are valid reasons. But I just want some fish. Like, the fish can wait. You can buy fish next month or whenever, it's kind of a better time to be doing it. So I still maintain, like, try to just come out for the essentials. Now, if you're already there because you do have, like, my heater's broken and my other aquarium needs 2 auto sinkless, sure, that makes some sense. But let's not make, I don't want to call them needless, but let's not make extra trips to be like, I just wanted one more mystery snail today. It's like, well, let's, and if you can, and you're ordering at least $100 worth of stuff, you can order stuff on our website anyway, just not fish. So trying to curb that a bit. All right. So yeah, I've seen some talk that I've missed some super chats from Christopher Gonzalez. It's probably just gonna get missed, honestly. Like, I super appreciate super chats, and I see that Christopher here was even like, don't worry about it. Yes, so I super appreciate them, but I don't want to derail the whole thing and have to go find something. So it's a fine line of like, do we allow them? Don't we allow them? I do try to engage with them. Part of the problem is if it's, and I have no idea what this one was, but if it's a cheaper super chat, they don't stay on my screen very long. So, and don't let that be, sorry. Don't take that as like, Corey wants bigger super chats. No. I'm just saying that one for like $20 stays up there for like 20 minutes or something, where a $2 one stays as fast as it just scrolls off the screen. So it doesn't go to the top. So, and for all I know, you did a $20 one and I completely missed it, and I apologize. But that's the level of derailing that I want to allow at this point. Like, I'm sorry. And if you need a specific question answered after the live stream, hop into the chat at the Aquarium Co-op website, and I will definitely try to answer that for you. I'm not trying to take advantage of anyone. That's always my goal. I'm not saying it doesn't happen unintentionally. All right. Brad became a member. Well, thank you, bud. And so, by the way, and not that, I don't know, I'm derailing myself here, but so now I look bad because I acknowledge that member and I don't acknowledge the super chat. There is some timing here. If I'm mid-rant, wait to send your super chat till I'm like, all right, he's finishing up a thought and now he's looking to engage in another thought. But if it's, mid-rant and I got another 10 minutes to go and you did a $5 super chat and lasts for 5 minutes, it's likely to fall off the things I can see. So just trying to give you guys, and this is part of the reason I hate YouTube's chat system, is it shouldn't put me as the creator in a spot of like, I can't even really keep track of it. And it used to be that the list was really nice. Then they updated the studio and everything, and it became a train wreck for us. So, I'm sure there'll be a better version down the road, but for now, it's kind of ad hoc. On the same thought, can you just use very diluted regular fertilizer for your aquarium? Technically, the answer is probably yes, Jessica. Like, you could probably find a fertilizer out there and really crazy dilute it. That being said, don't go do that. And if something goes wrong, call me out on it, because there are some chemicals in, let's say, some aquaponics fertilizers or house fertilizers that could be deadly to like shrimp, for instance. So do know that, yes, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, no, only the aquarium co-op fertilizer could ever work for you. How dare you? That's not true. I've done that stuff in the past. Just know that you're messing around with stuff that you don't know about. I mean, maybe you are a chemist, but for me, I didn't know about it. So it was a lot of like, well, I'm going to test it over here with this tank that's got nothing to do with some snails, and we'll see how that goes. And there was a lot of trial and error, and most time error, honestly. It was a lot of errors, and then you run into things like you don't realize, like, well, okay, and I speak from experience here. So you get something, you're like, hey, that worked. Okay. That was a real pain in the butt to like dilute it down though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottle I bought at the store, and if I put that into a 5-gallon bucket, that's the right dilution. So you do that, you start dosing it out, you're using it. 2 months later, you open it up, and you just got this like fungus farm going in there because you don't have enough algae inhibitor in there, because you diluted the algae or the fungus inhibitor down. So there's all these things that go into it, and I speak from personal experience of like, yes, it can totally be done, but there is something to mixing fertilizers. Yes, you're just mixing chemicals and water, but there's a reason that like a shelf-stable product is a good thing. And but by all means, if you got a whole fish farm going on, you can mix your own. More power to you. I'm only selling the shortcut there of making it easy. Okie doke. My cherry shrimps are dying one by one very quickly. Oof. My tap TDS is 450. Do I think that's the culprit? No, I don't. I've checked every parameter, and I still couldn't find a reason. So TDS in itself, I don't find to be a very helpful measurement. Could be 450 TDS of something very toxic and would kill anything. Could be 450 TDS of dechlorinator. Probably wouldn't kill anything at all, right? What could be going on is like you need to step back and go, okay, were your shrimp super stable for a long time and now they're not? Are they new shrimp to you? Is it a new aquarium? Like, what is it? Like, water in itself doesn't kill things outside of very big extremes. You know, one of the first things I'd ask you is like, so your cherry shrimp are dying left and right. How are your snails doing? Snails are good? Okay. Probably not copper. Then we could probably rule that out. Probably not anything too toxic. How are fish doing? Fish doing okay? Okay. Well, it's got to be something that's kind of really affecting just these shrimp. And for me, like when I was having that problem, I thought I was, the shrimp master at one point. And this is probably like 2000 and when would that have been? 2006 or 2007, something like that. So I'd order 300. I remember it specifically. I first learned on the snowball shrimp tank. 300 snowball shrimp into a 55-gallon tank. I had it set up, had a little bit of fish in there, got it cycled, dropped those buddies in, and then they would just die over and over again every day. Like, man, 5 more are dead. What is going on? Water test perfect. Turns out the tank wasn't seasoned enough. They were starving to death. So even though I was feeding, there wasn't enough microfauna in the tank with the live plants and like the biofilm on the glass and the rocks and everything to sustain them. And so over time, it mellowed out. It was fine. But everything on paper said it should work. The thing that was missing is like wisdom of like, oh, there's things you can't measure for that are important as well. And that's what I call a seasoned aquarium. The longer something's been running, the more stable it becomes. And I think that's a very important factor. New member from Matthew Grob, welcome. What's in the tank behind me, someone asks. I've got X amount of baby goldfish. They're actually super cute, and they're about like inch and a quarter. They're definitely like, hey, that's a baby goldfish. That's super cool. They come running to eat. I haven't done an official count or anything. I want to say like, there's like, well, now I can't even see a single. Well, there's one right there. 2, 3. So there's at least 3 right there. Saw a 4th one for sure. But I think there's like between 4 and 6 of them. And we started out with more, but so when you breed fish, a lot of times you get these things called a racer. And that's one that might just genetically grow a little faster, and it grows a little faster, and then it gets a little more food than the other ones, and that gives it a boost. And then pretty soon you get some that are this big, and you still have some that are this big, and then you don't separate them, this one just eats that one. And so I think I'm down to 4 or 5 or 6 of them that are pretty good size now. You know, all the racers of the batch, I'm sure. But, you know, part of the plans for that tank is to put the custom background in. It's now missing from the last time we were here. I've got to actually, if you're in the chat room and stuff, you saw that I was working on that last Saturday. It's installed, and I'm going to start setting that tank up soon. We've got another one to install. This one, I actually realized because of the quarantine, I can't set it up. The 8-foot background, it's too floppy. So no matter kind of what I do, I need at least kind of 2 people to hold this thing. I got to put a bunch of silicone on. I got to hold it. Then I got to brace it. And I basically need Dean or maybe my wife. But it might be more than 2. So I kind of want like Dean or someone over. And then when we go, oh my gosh, it's a 3-person job, then I can wrangle my wife and like hold this. Because I just think it could be easily more than 2 if I'm not careful. So, yeah, that's the plan there. But it's a big, unwieldy sheet to go in there that I got to silicone in. So I got to drain the water, got to move the plants, got to catch the fish, got to do all those things. And it's a weekend project. Definitely gonna have to be buying some people some dinner and lunch probably. GNR is a new member, welcome, and a new super chat from Eric. Love the videos and found you while working from home. I hadn't thought about that people are extra bored, start searching up videos. I like it. An emoji from Amy. Well, thank you. New Zealand dollars, I think, $10. And Eric McNerdy. McMurtree. I don't know. I've murdered that 4 times now. One of those might have been right. And Jacqueline Torre. Welcome all. Let me grab some new questions. So if I'm going to set up a 33 long as an invert tank, how would I season it? So what I used to do, so one, I always had fish and snails. So I would set up the tank, then I would grab my poopiest sponge filter and I would just make chocolate milk in there. Horrible bad. Ugh. And it would just be like a layer over the whole substrate. And then anyone that sees it would just be like, what's wrong with you? And I would just let that chill for like a week or 2. I want some of that to settle into the substrate and just kind of let that bacteria run wild. Then what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll gravel vac it, right? And so I'll get most of that gunk back out there. It'll start looking a lot better. I'll clean that sponge filter. And then I'm going to introduce some fish. And a lot of times it might have been guppies or white clouds or just something I want to spawn once. That's one of my moves, I guess. Do I hear someone or is that me? I thought I heard a weird sound. Anyway, so one of my moves would be like you set up that 33 long and you want to do inverts. But first I might go, well, I'm going to put a pair of apistos in there. Get them to spawn once. That might take you a month or 2. And then take all those fry out. Now you know you're like, look, I raised baby fish in there. That thing is cycled to a T. It's seasoned. I can see algae in there. I can see gunk in the gravel. I can see all that. It really did well and fish bred. Then I feel real safe about adding my inverts and just having them really thrive once I've taken that fish I want to breed out of there. So that's what I would do. But I know like if you only have 1 tank, that setup doesn't work out too well. But if you got a few tanks and you're used to playing with some fish and doing that kind of stuff, that's my favorite method. How's the Daphnia going? Yeah, I ordered some Daphnia off Aquabid, and honestly, I haven't checked at all, so they could all be dead for all I know. But I doubt it. We got green water outside, and I will check on that after this stream, because that is in my own mind. I thought about this morning while I was driving to the airport of going, ooh, I wonder how the Daphnia are doing. I wonder if they cleared the water yet. And my goal this time, by the way, I always set new goals or try to. I want to see if I can raise Daphnia on only the Aquarium Co-op fry food. You know, some of the chunks will be a little bit too big, but that's almost good. As it falls to the bottom, it'll start to rot. That'll make the water cloud up. They're filter feeders. Some of the particles are very fine. They'll probably just be able to filter feed that right out. So I'm just going to try because it'll be a good food for them if they consume enough of it. All right. Clicking on things. Candiana? Candiania? Candiania? I don't know. One of those, maybe. Can you overdose Easy Green? Yes, you definitely could overdose Easy Green. Know that it does add nitrogen and other elements to your water. We find the best way to test is with a nitrate test kit. Don't let that go too much above 40 parts per million, and don't let it get down too much below 20 parts per million. If you run out, you don't have no food. If you go way high, then you got too much in there, right? So everything can technically be overdosed. Really, you got a wide range though. Just shoot for that wide gap, and you'll be okay. 3 shubunkins and 50 gallons. Can it be done? It can. You'll be, towards the end of that, when you get those shubunkins 10 inches or more, you're like, oof, there's a lot of water changes. They eat a lot. Yep, totally doable though. And you'll probably at that point go, you know what? Maybe I will put them in a pond. Maybe I will get a bigger tank. You might keep them in there forever too, but it does get a lot easier with some more room. Any tips on cardinalis? I can't find anything on it searching on Google and YouTube. So cardinalis is, what is it? Lobelia cardinalis, which is a plant. And when you see it in pictures, most vendors will show it as this crazy purple looking plant. Looks really good. But when we grow it in aquariums, unless it's got the best CO2, really high light, and a crazy amount of iron, it's mostly a green stem plant. Fairly easy to grow that way, but I don't know that I've ever really, maybe once, seen it in someone's aquarium where it actually held the purple, and they were a plant wizard. And they were like, I hate this plant. It takes so much work to make it look anything remotely cool. So those are my tips there are, if you want that green leafy plant, it'll do that pretty easy. If you're going for that purple look, oof, work's cut out for you. Why don't I sell fish online? Because it's not profitable for us. The way in which we run our business, we are in a kind of a bad location. We aren't set up to run and do fish all day long. And so usually things are, it's the same thing. Like it would be like me asking you, I need you to sell hamburgers on the side of the road for $1 each. You'd be like, but it costs me $2 to make a hamburger. And I would say, but McDonald's can sell a hamburger for $1. Well, if they sell millions of them, they've got the scale aspect. And same for us. We'd have to really build a business around selling fish to make it worthwhile. And that's just not something I want to do currently, and I don't have someone to oversee it. And so that's why we don't. And we do have a high threshold. I really like to be close to the top in our class when we're competing. So in live plants, I personally think for live plants we are the best. For dry goods, I really like the fact that we curate our selection. There are people with bigger selections, but I like, I was even shopping on some competitors and just going, how would someone know what to buy? They've got 40 different fertilizers. Like if I'm a newbie, how do I know which one to buy? And so, I want to be really good at what we do. And so, I think we have a good retail store, so we're still actively doing that. If we're not good at something, I tend to pull out of it. And I don't think we could do the customer service level needed to do live fish correctly at this point. We would need probably a team of 4 or 5 more people on customer service to have a chance at that. And I think a better strategic location. If we were in the Midwest somewhere shipping out fish, that's a lot better than being in one of the corners. So that's most of the reason why we don't. Do I quarantine our plants before selling them? I would say not really. And that's an ambiguous answer, but yes, they go into systems that only ever get plants and that kind of stuff, but we're not sitting on them extra long to quarantine them. Now that being said, I myself never quarantine plants at all because I've never had a problem. I've heard the internet stories of they got sprayed with pesticides, brought them in, killed all my shrimp. I've never seen that happen ever. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying from a guy that orders tens of thousands of dollars in plants every single week, I've never witnessed it. So, that doesn't mean you shouldn't, though. Like, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm only here to explain why we do what we do. And, yeah. So, I would say you probably don't need to. But if you wanted to, go ahead. And we don't. So, full transparency, we don't quarantine them. We do convert them. They are in tanks with light and CO2 and fertilizer, and they are kept up by a team of people. We do lots of tank maintenance and all of that, but not strict quarantine like we would fish. Fish is a strict quarantine. Elizabeth Hughes became a member. Thank you much. What would be the best betta type to breed for my first betta breeding attempt? August, I think one of the easiest and most fun is Betta alba marginata, or the strawberry bettas, or Betta simplex, or pugnecks. Yeah, pugnecks. Both of them are mouth brooding bettas, fairly easy to breed. Both of them intrigue people. The strawberry bettas or the alba marginata look cooler, so they sell easier at a store, but the pugnecks sell cheaper and are easier to breed, and it's a bigger fish and they have bigger batches. But either one of those, very fun and highly recommended to play with. All right. Big tank behind me screams monster fish. Yeah. Most people put, so part of the problem is most people want to put big fish in big tanks. Something like an arowana, that's not a big tank for an arowana. It's a big aquarium, but in terms of an arowana, you get a 40-inch to 48-inch arowana in there, and that thing's half the length. So I favor smaller fish in a larger tank because it allows me to do more. That being said, I'm going to put a moo puffer in there. It's going to get very large, but I plan to upsize to keep it large at some point. And I'd like to fully call myself out on, I give advice to people all the time. Don't buy fish that you don't have their end home tank for. It is true. I do not have the final home for Murphy or Ladybird at this point. I don't believe that either of these tanks, I believe both of them could be their forever homes. However, I'm erring on the side that I don't plan for them to be the forever home, in which I basically anticipate building a bigger masterpiece. I just don't know if I want to do that here at this studio, if we move, or, I don't know where I want all that to go down, and it's not easy to move something like this. So a lot of planning needs to go into it. All right. What do I see in the future for the fish hobby, especially stores like mine after this pandemic? Oh, that's a good point. Let me see if I can pull up an email. I thought about doing this like rant-a-thon type of thing here, where it was from Hikari. See if I can find it. Yeah, so they sent out like a lot of companies are doing this, like manufacturers and stuff. And what's irritating to me is you might be really good at manufacturing, but if you're not running a store, you're out of touch. And so they did an email that came out, let's see when this came out, 3 days ago. They sent out an email and says, basically, dear Hikari retailer, here's 10 suggestions, our top 10 suggestions to help get you through the virus. Number 1, work with your local aquarium clubs to stay in touch. Post short videos on local aquarium Facebook pages and stuff like that. And then it says patrons can respond and times can be coordinated for stores open to get the merchandise. That's true, but that's kind of something that should be done anyway. And I honestly think that if I was to, let's say, spend time on that, it wouldn't yield enough. It would be like, oh yeah, we got 4 people. But it's a decent tip. I won't say that's horrible. Stores should have website and contact information so customers can order supplies and schedule curbside pickup. Yep, and this is one of those things that irritates me. It's like, if a store owner hadn't thought of that yet, they probably shouldn't be in business. I fully believe any store owner out there is like, everyone around me is doing curbside pickup. I could do that. Yes, I believe that, yes, that's fine. This is one I don't agree with. Number 3, offer discounted gift certificates and cards now for use later when things get back to normal. Buy $50, get $10 that has to be used 30 days after the shelter in place ends. Small fish stores can use some cash flow now to meet ongoing fixed costs like rent, heat, electricity, water, and so on. So here's my problem with that. Let's say I sell you guys tons of gift cards today, and you give me $50, I give you $60 gift card, right? The problem is gift card upsells like that are the most dangerous thing for a company. So I'm giving you basically 20%. Well, I'm sure the math will be wrong, but let's just assume my math's on right while I'm on the fly, because I always get this wrong. Let's say you're getting a 20% benefit, like a 20% discount essentially, right? And then you come and buy an aquarium that doesn't have any margin anyway. So I actually lose 20%. So it's like I'm taking out a loan for a month and losing 20%. That'd be horrible. Now, majority of it would be on products that have some margin there. But as you guys know, I'm going to have supply issues. So I'm going to say you have to spend it within 30 days, and then I don't have those pumps you want. Oh, this thing is out of stock, and that's going on, and all these stores are going to have that problem too. And then, heaven forbid, what if you guys buy all these, the stores recommend buying these gift cards, and it's not enough to keep them afloat, and they go bankrupt and they close. You guys get nothing from it. So, I think, drink some, hold on. So I think it'd be better off to run a sale like buy these 40-gallon aquariums, buy this package of food, this bundle, pick it up on X day, but if you buy it today, you get it for X. You can control it. If you know this thing costs you X, you sell it for Y, you actually made some profit, you already have the product sitting there, or you can secure it, something like that. I just think that's a dangerous, pre-selling gift cards in a time like this seems dangerous. Another one, offer to discount to people who donate masks. The store can donate the masks to a hospital or whatever to get good PR, so that's a win for everyone. See, this is something I don't agree with also. Like, people were asking if we wanted to sell Aquarium Co-op face masks and all that kind of stuff, and my response was, I don't think that's good PR. I don't think we should be selling masks. I don't think we should be giving masks away with orders. I don't, in a time where we're supposed to be staying home, incentivizing people to come in and donate masks. Great. Incentivize people to donate masks, and you should. That's a good thing. And we have donated masks. That's besides the point. That's all good stuff. But on the back of making the money is where it becomes like, this is just not, it's like, I think I could come to you guys and be like, look, we're having a really hard time. I need you guys to buy stuff. And you guys would. Instead, a veiled thing of like, if you donate masks, get 10% off, and then we'll give them to the hospital. And we're such good people. We're just stealing your goodwill and giving it to the hospital. Where if you just give it to the hospital or whoever, that's fine as well. So I just, these are, and keep in mind, these are the best tips that a manufacturer came up with for people to stay in business. And I'm not sure that that's a good way. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Number 5 is I need a sale to entice me to go, and it has to be worth the risk. It could be like different fish and that kind of stuff. And that's exactly the thing, though, is like, you guys heard me early in the stream. I was saying, if you have an essential, come to our retail store. If it's not essential, please don't come in. Even though revenue is down by 70%, we're kind of all in this together, and I value my employees' safety and that kind of stuff, and want to minimize this, but we want to keep animals alive. That's true. I don't think we should be trying to come up with sales to sneak people in, right? Like, that's just going against it. Facebook ads, lots of Facebook ads. They're cheap. With so many people on Facebook these days, they might be really successful. So just think about that. Manufacturer comes out, says, these are our best tips to keep you open. Facebook ads are cheap, and they might be successful. That doesn't sound like a home run win to me, and I happen to know from running Facebook ads, they are not cheap. They are slightly cheaper right now, but they are not cheap. And yeah, so number 7, this one I can get behind. Get on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. All store owners should have been doing that anyway. That is what that is. And they're saying, show what you have. For example, once a week, maybe on Wednesdays, show the fish order. Yes, that's called marketing. That's, we're telling retailers you should market. Yes. Shouldn't have waited till a pandemic to do it. We should be marketing all the time, but yes, market. That's a good thing. Buy a specific amount of fish food now, get a free automatic feeder you can use when you have to go back to work. Like that just, I don't know, that just, somehow it doesn't sit well with me. Like the call out of like, you know they don't have a job, so sell them more stuff so that when they get a job, they can use that feeder. And it's just, for me, it's a grab from Akari of like, oh yeah, one of your best 10 tips is sell a bunch of Akari food. Yes. I don't know. This one, I mean, it's this one I hadn't thought of. 9, livestock bidding that lasts a few days and then the store delivers the products that were won to the highest bidder. I gotta give it, that one's like actually like, okay, hadn't seen anyone do that yet. Decent. I'm not sure about who's actually delivering to homes. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't ask my employees to go do that unless they volunteered, so it'd probably be an owner. But hey, that's the first idea where I'm like, all right, that's something new. I like it. Possibly. There's potential there. Number 10, lots of homes are having children, like home from school. They struggle to find material, create education based on videos or products or product bundles, and market them with lesson plans. I can get behind that. That is a good, I thought about that myself. And yes, if you had extra time, and I think that could be a legitimate thing. So, you know, not all of them are bad on there, but I would say for something that came out of that big of a corporation worldwide, I'm just like, you know, not all of these actually help. And if you follow the wrong one, it's kind of like Groupon. You know, it's like telling, oh yeah, do Groupon, you get a bunch of people to come in. It's like, yeah, but you're getting people that aren't return customers, you're losing money, blah, blah, blah. And so many businesses went out of business from Groupon. So be careful with your marketing out there. If you're another pet store out there, I feel for you. It's not easy. You know, it's just not. So be careful with your money. Don't squander it away if you can help it. You know, try to make good decisions. All right. PSA Nano, Extreme Nano is incredible. Received an order today. That's a good point. Let me see, do I have it with me? No. If you've ordered Nano in the past, Extreme Nano was more of a brownish color, and now it is a reddish color. Well, there was dye in there, so what they wanted, I've got other foods here. So like you see this brown color, this is the color of like the pellets, right? And they thought we want it to be like a miniature, look like a miniature version of that pellet, so they added the brown to it. Well, it's got high krill in it, so it's actually, if you don't put in the dye, it is more of an orangey red color. So that was one of my suggestions is, hey, let's, like, orangey red is a better looking product. And I've got it in the other room, I can show you guys if I go grab it. But, and so like, let's just not dye it brown. And we tested it and everything, you know, that's what I do. And we honestly believe that the fish like it better. So if you have the older version that has some dye, it's only getting better. In my opinion, we've left out the dye. And I don't know if they're seeing it better. I don't know if whatever that dye is tasted different. I'm not a fish, I don't know. But just know that if you get a new one, you got an older one, and it comes in looking different, that is a change, and we are aware, and we do endorse it, and we think it's good. All right. I bought a filter pump. Do I need an air pump? In my opinion, I think every aquarium needs air. Technically, you don't have to install an air pump on your aquarium. You can get away without it if you know what you're doing, and it's not that hard to figure that out. But I like that added level of security. So my official recommendation is yes, I would, but you don't have to. And everyone knows their own budget and their own money circumstances, and I definitely have had tanks where I don't run it, ones I do, you know, depending on money, or like right now my ponds outside don't, because I cooked my nano air pumps in the sun last summer. I got to run air out to them, and they're doing just fine. They're breeding gangbusters, but I do want air back in them because, you know, I'm worried about, right now I'm worried about the worst case scenario. And what's a worst case scenario for a pond for Corey? It would be middle of summer, super hot. So, okay, a little bit less oxygen in the water. Crazy lot of sun, right? Water turns really, really green. Okay. And then the fish are breeding a ton. So we got fish load going up all the time. At night, all that green water starts consuming oxygen. And we could run out of oxygen at night and have the fish basically run out. And so when all those stars align, that could be horrible. And that's why I run an air pump. Not that they need it during the day, but it's that extra like safety net that I like to run, and for a minimal investment, I believe. All right, $20 super chat here, and a new member, I think, Matthew, from Icarus Newton. Yeah, I think it's Icarus Newton. Hope everything in the macro house is well. What would you think is the best tank mate that will be least likely to mess with velvet shrimp? Thinking about pygmy cories or sawa resplendens. Is that the Raminos rasbora? I'm going to Google that. Let me see. Yes, that is. So the question was velvet shrimp. Yeah, pygmies will be fine. Rasbora is mostly okay. Like, you want some plant cover. You want you know, I wouldn't put it like in a 5-gallon. I'd want a little bit bigger of a tank. Celestial Pearl Danios would be fine. Clown killies, Norman lampi killies, pygmy hatchetfish. I think pygmy loaches would be okay. Coriolis habrosus, Brigite rasbora, exclamation point rasbora, axelrodi rasbora. Like the blue ones look super cool. Panda loaches. I'm sure there's a bunch more, but that's what I can think of off the top of my head that would be compatible with those blue velvets. Without knowing tank size, though, I would want to see, before you start mixing too many fish in there, hopefully at least a 10-gallon. T-Shot, thanks for sharing the knowledge. Thanks for the $2. Am I thinking of an IPO of Aquarium Co-op? Never. Never! I never want to give up control of the company. So if people don't know, IPO is initial public offering, right? So we would turn in the stock and all of that, and allow people to buy in and all that. But then you have a board of directors that have to run it, and you have shares, and you have all these things. And I believe one of the reasons that Aquarium Co-op can do what we do is because at the end of the day, it comes down to Corey's intuition. Do I think this is the right move? Because there are many decisions that are terrible on paper. And if we were only following the money, friends, if we were only following the money, we'd still be selling Dennerley. If we were only following the money, there's a lot of things we'd be doing. And, you know, I really hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the butt, you know, 3 months from now, if we're really struggling and the economy's bad and we're wishing we hadn't done that. But I'll be able to sleep at night knowing, like, well, we always stood behind our brand and our customers. And, you know, I'm not going to say we're perfect, because no one's ever perfect, but I try to be as perfect as we can get, as honest as we can be, and as fair as I can be, and still stay in business. So that allows me to sleep at night. And I'm afraid that the minute you'd go public, and I do believe people would buy in. I do believe that, investors and that kind of stuff. But the minute you do that, you're trying to satisfy someone else. So all of a sudden, this investor's angry to make enough money, blah, 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 right? And I have one silent partner at Aquarium Co-op. He has never once challenged anything I've ever done. He's very happy with what we've done, obviously. And I want to keep it that way so that we can do what we feel is best, not what we feel is most profitable. So it's the good news. The thing I believe in is that if you do the right good things, it will be profitable. Like, there might be someone making faster, quicker money than I am, but I think in 5 years' time, we'll be making that same money or better than they will, and they probably will have petered out because it just, it's quick money versus long term. Long term, you know, I have a plan. Basically, I want to be out of aquarium co-op, day-to-day stuff in 3 years when I'm 40. I want it so that if I didn't show up to work, nothing would be any different for the aquarium co-op. And so what does that look like? That might mean I run a fish farm, I might make videos, but someone else is proofing blog articles, someone else is doing the YouTube SEO. I'd still do live streams, that's fine. Product testing, yeah, Dean and I can do it, but I want someone else to really be testing it. Like, yeah, get old man Corey, he's gonna put some in the fish farm and play with it and blah, 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 whatever. But have someone that's writing a report on it and getting back to the manufacturer. Because that's, when I do this stuff and I make the video and I show you guys, that's because that's all going back to the manufacturer on, here's what we don't like about it, here's what we think you should change about it, here's where we think you went wrong. I want someone doing all that kind of stuff so I get to do more of the playing stuff of really enjoying it. Because right now it's driving to the airport a lot, looking at a lot of analytics, working with different teams and all of that. And I'm hoping in 3 years I can have other people in place that can manage these things for me and allows me to focus on playing with fish, making content, doing live streams, and just waking up with my wife and going, what do we want to do today? Let's do that. And so yeah, and I think, selling shares or whatever, an IPO or expanding, adding more aquarium co-ops delays it. Like, people always ask, when are you going to open another aquarium co-op? I won't, because opening an aquarium co-op probably delays that by a minimum of 2 years. So if I want to step away from day-to-day going to airports and stuff for aquarium co-op, adding another store would push that at least 2 years, because I'm going to have to do that really intensely, and then it won't give me the time to develop employees and positions and stuff like that to handle this day-to-day stuff that I currently handle. So that's the answer to that. James Holbrook, well, thank you much. Just giving back to Corey, Dean, Dorcula, and Candy. Brings light to the dark times. Love you all. Good luck, James. He shared with the chat earlier that his wife has the virus, and so all of our wishes are wishing for smooth recovery there. And I feel for you. Luckily, I don't know anyone personally that has it, but I always know what that's like. Something's not real until someone gets that disease or gets in an accident or something. When it, that's why the term, oh, it hits home now. It's because something's happened in a close enough circle of your people that now you understand it. And sometimes it's hard for people to have empathy and that kind of stuff. And so even though I am hoping for a smooth recovery for you, I'll never know what you're going through until someone close to me would have that. So all I can do is guess what you're going through and hope. I hope it's good, and I hope these live streams are helping you. And yeah, did I announce that yeah, okay, I did the Aquarius podcast. We're uploading those 3 times a week. So we're trying to do more. So we created the chat room. We're uploading the Aquarius podcast and that kind of stuff. We're trying to do more. If we know that you guys probably have a little bit more free time or working from home, we're trying to help fill in some of that void. I can't fill 500 hours a week for you, but if we can get a few more hours of aquarium co-op nonsense out there, that might fill in a little lull for you. So we're trying. Elizabeth Hughes says, can platies and angels go together? I'm getting mixed answers. 65 gallon, 15 platies, 5 panda cories, 3 angels. I can't figure out what else to add. I would say definitely they can go together. In my own personal experience, worked out well. 15 platies is quite a bit. I'm hoping, maybe do 6 and then they breed up or something. I don't know if you need to buy 15, because I think you're planning right now. That's why you're asking, because if you already had it working, you probably wouldn't be asking about it. So if you're planning, go with a 6-pack of those platies, let them breed, and you'll probably just have a menagerie going on, and I think it'll work out well for you. Dara Wong, because I bought a light right after you turned off super chats. Because I bought a light right after you turned off super chats. All right. I'm assuming I gave you some good advice and you got the right light, and then you want to give us 20 bucks. I appreciate that. If it's something else, I'm sorry I don't understand it. Uh-oh. Could be a critical message. Let's see. Survey says. All right. Apparently people are acting up in the Aquarium co-op chat on the website, so we'll be issuing IP bans for those people, and it's unfortunate that people have to be childish, but, you know, people ruin things all the time. We'll just fight the good fight as always, so if you had to see any of that, I apologize. We will be vigilant on that. All right. Any tips to remove brown diatom algae in a lightly planted aquarium? It's free floating and collecting on the sand more than covering the plants. Free floating. Interesting. Sometimes sand has a lot of silicates in it that really kind of breed and harbor more algae. And I don't know you're going to be able to really remove it. Gravel vacuum will help kind of tumble that. Water changes. Yeah. Can't think. I mean, maybe you could have like an earth eater in there. But yeah, those are time is another one too. So, well, I'll be making some member-only content soon. I've got some more already made up. I was gonna release it earlier today actually, but I ran out of time. So maybe tomorrow. Soon, yes. I don't know that I'm necessarily making more currently because I'm homebound pretty much between work and home. But I've got some more to release and definitely due to release some for sure. So yeah, look forward to it. Got a 10-gallon with 1 dwarf gourami, 5 cobra guppies, 2 albino cories, and a partridge in a pear tree. Didn't know cories were schooling. Can I add more cories to the 10-gallon? Yeah, I would grab another 3 of those and they'll probably just be happy. Do I have any experience or knowledge of Fractylaomus and Sorgi? I feel like the only Ensorgis I know are either bichers or there is a leaf fish. I'm going to Google that real quick. Let's go to my Google right here. Ah, yes, that's the bicher Ensorgi. All right, well, now that I know, what was the question about it? Do I have any experience or knowledge about them? Not so much, no. I don't. I mean, I haven't kept this fish, so unfortunately what this becomes, and I never like this, it means I do some cursory research and go, okay, what does this look like to me? Okay, it's like a bicher, and then I would just give you generalities. So I don't have, oh, wait a second. Looking at pictures of it. Interesting, it's kind of like, to me it looks like a bicher and an arapaima like had a baby. Huh. No, I don't know that fish. In fact, I've never seen that fish. It's always cool when I see a fish I haven't seen before, because that doesn't happen too often. Quick question, will my FX4 get damaged over time if I reduce the flow? For the most part, no. I mean, if you really crank it back to like just a trickle, that back pressure could have some long-term effects, but I don't believe maybe at half speed or something like that. I don't think it's putting too much back pressure on that pump at all. All right. Marie, I saw this question earlier, and hopefully I'll be able to get to the bottom of it for you. Heckelei suddenly developed symptoms of bacterial infection, tried Furin 2, Polyguard, salt, nothing worked. Now it just spins on his head on the bottom like Wordling disease. Anything else you can try? Probably not. It's probably a parasite going to the brain. What would I do if I had this fish? That's the only thing I try to fall back on. If this was in my fish room right now and I was trying to save it, what would I do? I know what I would do. I would have it in its own tank. I would turn the temp up to probably, and Heckelei I'm assuming is a discus, but it could be like a threadfin acara type of deal. I would probably crank it up to 85 if it's not already there, and 1 tablespoon of salt per gallon, and just wait. That's all I would do. When the description is already like, oh, that fish is just like odds are not in its favor. So that's That's what I would do, knowing that I got to go for that Hail Mary. If that's going to get it, the only thing that's going to get is something like that. So, yeah. David says, Angels, Colombian Tetra School, Pictus Cats, Corridors in a planted 225. Any other Tetras to consider? I would do Congo Tetras. They always look super cool. Travis says, I was thinking of doing an outdoor pond. I live in the desert. Would I overheat the pond? It will be in the shade, north side. It gets 115, 120 in the summer. I don't know. I have a feeling you could be okay. And the reason I say that is, like, it gets real hot in Peru, like really hot and humid, and maybe not 120, right? But you can do some things. You can plant it in the ground. That helps insulate a little bit. The more water you use helps. You could maybe pump in cooler air from the air conditioning in the house and put a top on it, but that'll retain some heat. But in the shade would be okay-ish. You could float frozen water bottles to try and help if it really got bad. You can pick a hot temperature tolerant fish. I'll say this. There's probably not many places in the world that I would not be trying to keep fish outdoors at least part of the year, honestly. In fact, I daydream about moving somewhere else just so I get to learn all the quirks of where that would be. You know, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's the Midwest, whether it's Florida or a different country. Like, oh, I wonder what because right now I have to go, okay, well, it gets to about freezing here. I could do this, this, and this. And if you change that radically, I'm like, oh, it'll never freeze, but it gets super hot. So like if I was, let's say you couldn't get anything to work, Travis, hunt yourself down some Soda Lake cichlids. They want to be at 110 plus degrees all the time. So then you'd have to probably heat it at night. But, there's always, there's pretty much a fish that will live in anywhere in the world for the most part. Whether you can get your hands on it, that could be tricky. Let's see. Do you know if my warranty will cover it? I think David was the one that asked about a Fluval filter. I honestly don't know that. I guess my main question would be, why are you throttling it back so much? Like, why are we putting an FX4 on something and throttling it back a ton? If it's flow, build yourself a spray bar. That'll disperse that flow. But for the warranty question, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I guess you're using it as intended. I'd have to read the instruction booklet and make sure it doesn't say, like, never retard the flow more than 50% or something. But if it doesn't say that in the instruction manual and you're using it, they provide you that valve. It's as intended. I would think they should honor it. Any kind of special care? Oh, scroll off the page. For Christmas moss bridge, such as trimming. Not really. I mean, it's gonna grow and get a little scraggly. You can trim, but I kind of like it to get to this, like, be that kind of mohawky bush looking thing there. I haven't had to do anything to mine. Doesn't mean I won't in a year, but for now I haven't. Maria said, did I say 1 teaspoon or tablespoon? 1 tablespoon of salt per gallon of water. That's pretty high level salt, but it really does well against parasites and some bacteria and that kind of stuff. So I do recommend that that tablespoon, which is a high dosage. But again, this is kind of that do or die scenario, and so yeah, that's what I would do. And that's very, very careful here. A lot of times I'll say that's what I would do. That's not what I'm telling you you should do. It's what I would do. And I don't always do the right things. I take some chances and I go based on my experience. And so just know that in your mind that, like, just because I say that's what I would do doesn't always mean that's what you should do. Because you might have some other information I don't have. You might have more resources than I do. You might not have as much resource. I don't know, right? I can never know the full situation. So I can always go, on the information I have, this is what I would do. All right. Is it true you can keep 2 discus in a 20-gallon? I feel like that. No. Well, it's not. The answer is never. Nothing's ever yes or no. As babies, sure, but well, like even Dean can keep a breeding pair in a 29. The answer is technically yes, but it's like keeping 2 Great Danes in an apartment. You better be super Great Dane keeper to pull it off. Like so I wouldn't try to keep 2 discus long term in a 20-gallon because I'm not willing to do that level of work to accomplish it. So but everything could technically be done. Starting hornwort from seeds? I didn't know that hornworts could have seeds. So I don't have any advice because I didn't know that was actually a thing. It must bloom? I've never seen it bloom either. I don't think how it would make seeds. It'd have to bloom. I've never seen it bloom in anyone's pond or tanks or anything. Keeping some smaller goldfish so I don't want them to stress when they get bigger. I'll use all the flow in a 75-gallon. All right. Yeah, I still think you can get away with it with a spray bar. Build yourself a nice DIY spray bar, and you know, making those holes bigger and spacing them out. Yeah, and you could turn it down a bit. Got a betta that's lost appetite and just stays at the bottom. Any idea what may have happened? I would check into temperature, make sure it's at least kind of like 80 degrees. Check to make sure your food has been opened within the last month, ideally the last couple weeks. If it's been open for a long time, could have spoiled. Other than that, try something new. Maybe try some frozen food. Maybe it's just bored. It's, you know, based on that information, that's about as good of help as I can give. I have any experience with that fish. The fish I can't pronounce, so let's see if I know it. Oh, no, I have no experience with the brackish water Florida native flounder. Nope. We got white fuzzy tops. Okay, so it's text-to-speech here because I was like, what is going on? White fuzzy tops on my Fahaka puffer. 2.5 weeks treating Icex. It had a lot of thin fin nips coming from the store. What else should I try? Salt. I would do 1 tablespoon per 3 gallons is what I would do for that fish. What's the smallest tank for a red-eyed red-tail puffer? I guess a 20 high, but I would go with like a 29 bare minimum. What do you think about keeping Central and South American cichlids in an outdoor pond? I mean, it seems fairly cool if you're into it. I'm just not that into those cichlids, but if you're into it, yes. If, you know, I don't see any extra reason to not, except if you grow out a bunch of big and Central and South American cichlids, when you go to get rid of them, it's not easy to find homes. Do betta fish like companions? I think it enriches their environment and gives them something to do. So I believe, yeah. I should do a series where I send people. Hold on. You should do a series where people send you their tanks and you rate them and give advice and tips. Never. That only. So we used to do the home show, which was okay, but basically what happens is this. There's X amount of people that only want to hear good things, and so I would only ever be able to say good things. And there are some tanks that are submitted that aren't very good. In fact, sometimes they're like animal abuse. So it doesn't make sense for a company like us to open ourselves up to that liability of, like, you know, you might say like, oh, what have you thought about doing this or this? And then it's a parent that gets super angry or whatever. So it's just not something I think we're interested in doing. I mean, I see people do that kind of stuff, kind of react videos and all that, but I'm sure it gets the views, but it's not the education style that I enjoy. So I would, it's one thing to make fun of yourself, that's fine. It's another thing to make fun of other people. And not that everyone's making fun of, but that is one style. And I would rather use myself or someone who trusts me, like maybe Dean and Randy and other people that I know. If they want to use that as a teaching thing, that's fine. But just a random exchange to the internet, you can't know what's their intentions and how do they feel and have I hurt their feelings on accident or anything like that. So I try to avoid that kind of stuff because it's not fun when you're on the receiving end of it. So yeah. Neon tetras neon tetras reproduce successfully in captivity? I think some of my neons are carrying eggs. They can be bred in captivity. Yes, quite. Well, I won't say quite difficult. It's more work and more difficult than I want to do. I believe someone like Dean could do it. You could do it with, I believe you could do it if you studied up on it a lot and you really tried hard and you spent all summer doing it. Probably could do it. That's just not something I'm willing to do, but it's definitely a feather in your cap when you do it, because not a lot of people get to walk around saying, I bred a bunch of neon tetras. It's a good thing. A black ghost knife and a 125 community tank. If the community tank is all kind of larger oddballs, sure. Smaller fish, well, they become meals after a while. Just saw Iliad furcidans on one of your videos. I'm thinking about getting some myself from Select Aquatics. Great fish. And I do believe Greg Sage at Select Aquatics has the best ones. That's a type of Goodiad, if you guys don't know, which is a type of libear, kind of an oddball, likes cooler temperatures, look like trout. His do specifically. It is a good fish. I do recommend it. They're not easy to rehome, but like you'll rehome the first 20 of them or something, but after that you're like, oof, people don't know what these are. My American flagfish has been sick for weeks. Good coloring, no visible fungus, got some white stringy poo. I've tried the Med Trio salt and levamisol, not simultaneously. Been laying for 2 weeks. Might just need time to recover. I mean, he's put a lot of meds through him. Check on diet as well. So like maybe you've got some fouled food that could do it. Where you put all these meds through it, but he's still doing it. Like, oh, the food was the source. But sometimes it could just be like got a bad kidney or something like that, and like no meds are gonna solve like, oh, the liver's failing. Like that doesn't. In fact, meds kind of contribute to that failure. But yeah, I don't know. It's hope and see, I guess. Will I be selling any awesome discus from Dean's Fish Room? We might at the store, but not online or anything like that. At this point, we recommend Aquahuna, which is an online retailer. And we have considered at some point maybe selling some fish to them that they could sell online, possibly, but we haven't figured out the logistics of all of that and if it makes sense and if it's a nightmare scenario for Dean and I. All right. Was wondering why you changed your trio setup. Was it pricing with API versus Fritz? Yes. You get more for your money. The consumer gets more for their money. Do I have that? Yeah, you get more for your money when you use the Fritz and Marison or Mardell Fritz. You just get more for your money, and they're the same active ingredients. So, I consider it, if I can get you guys more medicine for the same money, I should do that. So I did. Yeah, that's it's literally the same meds and everything. It's not like we're changing the blend. The secret sauce hasn't changed. Same stuff, just more for your money. And I'll try and do that all day long. Ooh, once a ghost knife gets bigger in the community, will it do bigger or will it do well in an African cichlid tank? I don't recommend that. Their cichlids usually will pick at it and they'll dominate food, and they have different dietary requirements for the most part. So, not. You kind of need like not a dedicated tank, like a big ghost knife is kind of the centerpiece of a tank. And so I feel like the tank should revolve around that. I'm from Trinidad. My baller shark only eats tube effects worms. Is there something wrong with them? No, it's like feeding a kid candy. He loves it. You're just gonna have to, maybe try feeding it only once a week with pellets on the other days, and it's gonna take a while to convert him, probably. I guess. I don't know if it's a him. Have you ever done any experiments on air stones adding CO2 to your water? Yes. It's present in the air we pump, but does it dissolve? Yes. There's like 1,000 videos on the channel. Not that any of them are labeled like oxygen, CO2, absorption rate or anything like that. But yes, talked about it probably 5 times at least on the channel, usually in live streams. And yes, I do believe it works. It only works if the CO2 level is lower than what's in the standard oxygen. And you can get plants pearling quite well with it. I've been able to accomplish it several times. I think I've shown it in fish store tours as well. What's the average size that a vampire pleco becomes sexually mature? I'm not sure, but even if I did know the size, you wouldn't judge it on size, you judge it on age. But I'm honestly not sure. Why not do a good fish retailer and do a collaboration like weekly packages and sell on your site? Because we're not a fish seller. We have a place you can go to, and we do get a cut of it. It's an affiliate. But, everything takes time in the day. And so, really it becomes, why don't you help someone else sell fish instead of making another product better? There are tons of places to buy fish. And it's one of the last few things that a local fish store has, so I want to see them sell fish. And there's so many other things. So, a lot of times when we're hanging out in the chat on the website, people are like, well, what are you working on? Or why don't you do this? And it's like, well, because of the money that takes, I'd rather funnel into this project. There's 20 things on the list that all need funding that we don't have enough money to do. And that one costs money too, and it's not as good as that idea that we think anyway. So, yeah, and that my time's the same way. It's like, in a perfect world, I got all the hours every day. I do all the things. But the reality is, you get stuck in traffic. You end up going to the airport. You end up picking and packing at the warehouse. You end up, live streaming. You end up doing all these things. And then pretty soon you're like, I got to sleep. And then you wake up and you do it all again tomorrow. My day started going to the airport today. And tomorrow I'll go to the airport. And then I'll pick and pack. And then I'm going to do these things. And so that's one of the reasons why I am trying to get it so I'm not involved as much in the day-to-day, so that I can work on some of these, 20 project list of like, okay, how do we get the funding? How do we, we got to generate profit that funds that. Will that generate any profit and fund item number 2? Okay, well, good. That's a good idea. Ooh, item number 7, that's only money losing. Like this right here. This is only money losing for us. Like we're not going to make money off giving away the stickers. But I liked the principle of it, right? So that's what I try to do. I go, okay, well, this will make us money. That's good. And then, great, that counteracts this other idea I want to do that loses us money. So, but there's new products coming and stuff like that. And I also hold out hope that someone else will do it. So, and this is going to sound like Corey's got a giant head, but if we were to really take on doing fish, we're going to do it really well. And that's going to make it really hard for someone else to run that business the way we would and as well as we would. And I don't want it to be that we're like this super corporation that does all these things. Like, even if we do it well, we would. But I don't want to just be like, well, Aquarium Co-op's got a stranglehold on that and that and that and that. I don't want it to become like we're this negative thing. And as crazy as it sounds, the money part doesn't drive me. Like, making a positive change in the hobby drives me. Helping people drives me. I have to make some money. I want to live a life. That's true. Like, we're buying, we got our house, we got to pay off, and I'm not saying I don't like money, but you know, people always ask, like, would you sell? Yes, there's enough money if someone, and I don't know what that number is, but X amount of millions for me and my employees, we probably sell and figure out something else to do. But I'm not out there like shopping around like, hey, Petco, PetSmart, you buy an aquarium co-op? Like, my intentions aren't to do that because the money's not the driving factor. It's, you know, can we develop a hang-on back filter? Hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? That's what we're trying to do. All right. Cody says, I've ordered 3 times from Aquahuna, A+ seller. I'm glad to hear that because, you know, we're always going out on a limb when we recommend someone else, and we're always fearful because we have very high standards and our customers are used to high standards, and we hope that people we work with maintain those high standards. Amy re-upping, thank you very much, Amy. And Jennifer became a member, thank you. I want a whole set of the co-op stickers. Me too. I haven't even thought where I'm going to start mounting them yet. Like, I carry a super small laptop when I travel, so I can't even fit them all on there. Is Pogostem Stellatus octopus a good plant? No, it's a great plant. I love that plant so much. We tried to order so much of it this week, and we got a third or a half of what we ordered. So, you know, it's still a couple hundred, but we're gonna burn through that. That plant's amazing. If you're a beginner, I shouldn't even say it because we're gonna sell out. But if you're a beginner, Pogostem Stellatus octopus is your friend. Super easy, super good. Canada loves you look tired. I am tired. I don't know. I don't want to complain, but, you know, the virus and the pandemic and all, it just makes everything harder. And I'm not asking for sympathy. It just means longer hours. So, you know, what took 8 hours now takes 14 hours to do. You know, what would have been simple, picking up both things of plants this morning, now is 2 different trips, which is going to add another 3 hours of driving, and not 3, only adds another 2 hours. You know, so it just makes things harder, but everyone's a little bit tired right now. Everyone got a little bit extra going on, and we're all doing a little bit extra. So, but yes, I'm not going to say I'm not tired. I am tired. So, you know, so if anything, apologize for my brain lagging behind us. That's all. Okie dokie. Have I bred my albino knives yet? Do I have albino knives? Is that talking to me? No. Knives? No. Can't be me. Donald with a $20 super chat. Flowerhorn needs hard water. A tap is 300 TDS, 9 kH, 1 GH. If I buffer the GH, TDS is over 700 to 800. I know. But that's a lot of TDS in water, especially when they say 300 TDS is hard water. Should I just not buffer to 9? So I think the problem you've got is you're putting a value on TDS that has no value. Because if you don't know what makes up the TDS, it doesn't help you. So it's like saying, it would be like saying, if I didn't know what country you're from, and you say, I have 1,000 monies. If it's United States, like, okay, that's $1,000. Okay, that might be a lot, right? But if it's, and I don't know, like, and I'm just gonna name another country. I think their currency's inflated. If it's not, my bad. Let's say Zimbabwe. Maybe 1,000 monies is like a loaf of bread. I don't know. But then that's not a lot, right? Same thing. If we don't know, so if we never know the monies, what country it came from, we wouldn't know how much it's worth. Same thing. Because we don't know what's making up that TDS, we don't know what's good or bad. So, and the problem is when you're talking to other hobbyists and they go, oh, 900 TDS, you fool. My Flowerhorn was doing terrible at 900 TDS. Well, what was it? What was your TDS made up of? I had 900 TDS. Like, if they don't know, how do you know that you even have that in your water? So my advice, this is my advice. My advice is, I oversee hundreds of aquariums, right? I breed fish. Dean oversees aquariums. He breeds fish. Randy breeds fish, oversees aquariums. Not a single one of us has tested TDS in like the last 18 months because it just is it's a non-thing, right? My advice to you would be, if you feel that your water needs more hardness, so magnesium and calcium in it, that's probably a true thing. We don't want to be devoid of it. That's true. Then I would use something like a Wonder Shell or Equilibrium or some additive to add that to the water. Now, the magical number that says this is bad, I wouldn't worry about that when this one says this is bad. And now you're trying, because you're basically just paid $20 to go, well, which one's worse? It's not. Just focus on the good things there. And TDS, that's why I made a video about it, that I hate it because it's one of the few measurements that as hobbyists we don't understand, and it's very ambiguous, and we don't have ways to quantify it. So even if you had 500 TDS and I have 500 TDS, I guarantee they're different and for the fish. So it doesn't help us, and I think it's a hindrance. So my advice is add minerals and stuff the way you think it needs to be added, and don't worry about that artificial number that someone else says that's bad for you. Casey with 20 bucks. Well, thank you, Casey. I appreciate it. All right. What are my thoughts on Rotala Vietnam Ra or HRA? Easy or not? I mean, easy for me has got to be real easy. So I wouldn't put it as easy. I'd put it like medium, because you got to have decent light. It's got little leaves, and it's not hard though. I wouldn't say it's hard. Yeah, as long as you're used to doing planted aquariums and you got decent light, it's a good time for you to go, yeah, I will spend that 10 bucks and get that plant or whatever it is, right? I think you're within the realm of not going to be a train wreck for you. What's the smallest tank size for a German blue ram? 5 gallons is the smallest that Dean will breed them in. So I think it's somewhere around there. He's got a crazy amount of experience though. So for the average person, maybe 10 gallons? Like I don't like tanks less than really 20s, but well, I like some 10s sometimes, but not less than 10 for me personally. Does the aquarium co-op have plans to expand our plant inventory? Yes. So some plants we brought in today to test was Crypt Heuteroi. We'll be bringing in Crypt Pink Flamingo as soon as we can bring it in from that country. We've got, I think we're looking at Crypt Wendeti Green Gecko. There's a few others, but yes, the answer is yes. The biggest problem we have currently is, yes, can we get that plant? Great. Can you keep it in stock? Because that's our biggest problem. So we're rearranging some of the plants and going, can they keep this in stock for us? Because it doesn't make any sense to have 2 tanks sitting there and 3 out of 4 weeks every month there's no plants because we can't get them, right? So we're looking at who's got the best deliverability time or fill rates, and what plants can we craft, and yeah. But yes, so we are actively testing new plants. We do intend to launch some more, and right now, like Randy was ready to launch them, and I go, I don't think it makes sense to launch new plants that, one, be more of a cost to us, 2, we'd have to market them, and a lot of people are out of work right now, and I'm uneasy about marketing because, like, I just know that X amount of you guys might only have 1 income at your house or no income right now, and I can speak of, like, I'm very appreciative when you guys do spend money, but I also don't want to make you guys feel like you're missing out. Like, oh, look at the newest, latest, and greatest. You gotta buy. I have to do a little bit of it. I have to show you a hat and some stickers and some stuff we're doing because that's my job. But really, I'm trying to just like stay the course, not launch too many new things. And there are some new products that are coming out because they were already in the works and the time is right. But we're not, for the most part, I hope you guys see this in our newsletter, which if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, we spend a lot of resources crafting you guys blogs and newsletters and information every week. There is virtually no sales pitch. Under advice, we put 1 product recommendation a month or a week there that we basically explain it a little bit. But, it could just be real salesy, and it's not. It's information. We really just want to get information out to you guys. And so, yes, we will expand plants. At the moment, I don't want to do it until things are more normal for everyone, and that might be a few months. And You know, I just don't want. I don't want to. I'm the guy that owns it, and I say I don't want to. And sometimes at the end of the day, Randy and we go, hey, you know, he goes, you own it. Whatever you say goes. And I just go, yeah, my gut feeling says it's not the right time right now. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. How do we get brown hair algae off live plants? I would invest in Siamese algae eaters and Florida flagfish if you can. You could also try and scrub it off with a toothbrush. You could take the plant out and spray it with some hydrogen peroxide, let that sit for 5 minutes, give it a rinse, put it back in. There's a few other ways as well, and if I can, I'll plug my free guide. We do have an algae guide and that kind of stuff that you could sign up for, and it'll help you identify the specific type you have, and then it has recommendations on how to get rid of it as well. That, I don't know, maybe Candy has that link? If not, I might be able to find it. I don't even know where I keep it anymore. All right. I know we're getting towards the end here, so I'm trying to, probably missing some stuff, but I'm trying. I was fighting with depression for years, still am, but fish have literally saved my life. You've been a big help. Well, thank you, bad donkey. Yes, fish help a lot of people, myself included. You know, it's an escape. It's an escape mechanism, and really, you know, I've known this for many years. That, like, a lot of nurses really really enjoy not necessarily planet tanks, but fish in general, because they're a nice escape from the day-to-day stuff. And I think it's that way for a lot of people, honestly. You know, if I'm being 1000% transparent, until about this morning, I wasn't gonna live stream today because I'm trying to not force myself to do things I don't want to do. And I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, I don't know if I want to. I got so much stuff I got to do. I'm stressed out, you know. But this morning I was like, no, I want to be there for the people. I miss hanging out with people. I should do it. And so we did it, you know. But I do realize that we're a gathering place, and that's a good thing. And I want to be a part of that. And I want to continue doing that. I've been getting my fix, if you will, over on the chat side, on the website, and that kind of stuff. And so I hope that some of you guys join us over there. You know, we'll get it straightened out and get the riffraff out of there. You know, everyone swoops in to cause trouble, then we bolster our stuff and we get rid of people. But it is a core group of good people over there, and there is a lot of people. We talk a lot of stuff. We talk about a lot of fish, right? But we talk about bacon. What are you having for dinner? Ooh, can I get the recipe for that? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, man. You know, oh, your cat got attacked. Crazy. Is it going to be okay? You know, oh, yeah, you know, blah, 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 just lost their job. And, like, it's a community. And that's the thing is I've always been an advocate of communities, whether it's local fish clubs, whether it's online with the YouTube community here, whether it's on our website, doesn't matter. I'm always like, I want to be the epicenter for people to hang out with like interests and hopefully get along. Not everyone plays. You know, some people like to build a sandcastle. Some people like to put sand down people's pants, right? Not everyone plays the same way, so we gotta referee every once in a while. But for the most part, we just want to provide the sandbox and then hopefully go, oh, everyone wants to build sandcastles? Great. If you're building sandcastles, hang out here. You're, you know, throwing sand in people's eyes, you know, you gotta go hang out with Dale Gribble for pocket sand. All right. Another $20 from Casey. Dang. Well, thank you very much. All right. It's 5:58. We got to crash the KG Tropical live stream. And today, what is the word today? Community. We're going to use community. Hashtag community. I think that's a good one to end the stream on, that note. And, you know, I know that if you guys have just been following me like in the last month, you probably just thought that was the cheesiest thing you ever heard. The people that have been following me for 5 years on YouTube, you know that I live, eat, and breathe this. Like it's actually part of my DNA that I truly care about this thing, the community and all that. So, you know, if you think it's a song and dance, I totally get it. I'd be sitting there right with you going, this guy's just selling me down the river. But, you know, in probably 8 months, you'd be like, you know what? That guy's kind of actually does believe that. So, you know, have that little back of your mind going, you know, this guy might be legit. But yeah, so hashtag community, we'll go hang out over there. I don't know if I'm going to be super active in that chat. I gotta run some triage on our website chat. Apparently, people are just getting too out of control, and they probably need my administrator level things to put down the true ban hammers, like I've been known to do. But yeah, hopefully I'll be around next week. I don't know. Last week we actually had plants arriving, so I couldn't do it, and I never know until about the day of. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you at KD Tropicals live stream. #community. I appreciate all you guys' support. Stay safe out there, and we'll get through this once I find a button. I didn't even set myself up to find the button. Ooh, doggy. All right, here we go. Bye, everyone.